Hey guys, so this is the very first 10-gallon aquarium I have, and as you can see, I have siliconed acrylic on that sides. Reason being is because when I first got this, I wanted to put a light and bubbler through it, so I cut out a hole on each side. And the mistake I made was, instead of just sliding the light and bubbler through it like I did on the one I have right now, I tried to put it in here and then press it down. When I did that, it created about a 1-inch crack right here that has silicone, and it held for about a couple days. But then my mom noticed a micro crack on the side of it, and that's when I ended up getting a new tank, and now it works perfectly fine. I put the light in after cutting the hole. I put the light in properly. It works great now. I siliconed it. Awesome. And so I've been keeping this as storage pretty much, just in case if I ever need extra glass. But for my next aquascaping project in the aquarium I have right now, I'm going to be putting live plants in. But I'm going to be doing that at the end of this month. 1st of December, it's going to be ready. And so I decided to outfit this one so I can grow my plants in it before I actually aquascape, and so that's why I silicone acrylic to it so that I could hold water. And when I put weight on it to push the acrylic down, the micro crack became huge. So I did silicone on the outside. Now obviously you can see it's silicone very well on the inside. And so now I'm going to be pouring water in it and leaving it pretty much till tomorrow evening to see how well it holds. That way, if it leaks, I can silicone any leaks. If it holds, I'm gonna put a layer of sand in there with some root tabs, plant my the plants that I ordered, and we're gonna pretty much grow them until I'm actually ready to put them in my real tank. So let's fill her up. I won't need this much water whenever I'm going to be planting my plants, but I'll rather know that it can hold this much weight, this much water and pressure, just to be on the safe side. All right, and it is filled above where the acrylic is, and then I'll get a Sharpie and mark it, and we'll see where we're at. I'll go get the Sharpie. All right, I'm back with the Sharpie. So okay, it's pretty dry, and all right, so I made a mark at the water level, and tomorrow evening we'll see what the water level is at. If it stays the same, we will put some sand in it, some root tabs, and then we'll plant the plants I have. All right, well, till tomorrow. Hey everybody, so before we plant into our temporary tank, let's take a look at the water level and see where we're at. All right, so as you can see, it dropped down a little bit from the mark over the period of roughly 24 hours. But if we look completely around, weird, won't focus, unfortunately. Let's try it. There. Okay, that didn't help. But if we look around, obviously it looks dry, so there are no leaks. I can only assume that wherever it's not siliconed fully, probably some water might have leaked in there, but overall it seems to hold. And even though I'm not going to be pouring that much water in, I'm happy to see that it pretty much held over the course of 24 hours. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dump the water. So I'm going to be putting the temporary tank onto my desk since there's not going to be a lot of water in it. The table will hold just fine. But obviously, I am still worried that it might leak since I didn't silicone it properly. I'm going to put some towels on the table to make it nice and safe and absorbent in case it does leak. There we go. So let's adjust the camera a little bit. Beautiful. Okay, so I don't have any fertilizer yet. That's going to be coming in tomorrow. Initially, I wanted to put a small layer on the bottom, put in the sand, and then mix in a little bit more with the sand. But I guess I'm just going to have to put in the sand and then I'll add the root tabs tomorrow. That's all the sand that I have left over from when I aquascaped last time. But it should be enough. It covers, I'd say, about a good ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch. About ½ an inch, which I think should be fine. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, before even adding the water, I'll just actually I gotta rinse off my plants. So let's go do that. All right, let's get ready to plant. So I'm gonna start off with the hair grass. All right, so I'm gonna plant it back here. Not that it really matters where I plant it, to be honest. Since it's still gonna get uprooted and put in a new spot anyways at the end of the month. All right. And I'm not going to be using any substrate in my new aquarium just because in the very beginning when I first started this, I did have substrate, but one, it made my sand all muddy and brownish black, and it just kept getting my water looking dirty, especially anytime I would do a water change. Okay, so I just decided to stick with sand. All right, so the Monte Carlo, I'm just gonna kind of stick into the sand since there's not really any clear roots or anything. I'm gonna kind of stick it in there and see how it grows. All right, now that that's in there, I'm gonna get water and start filling it up. Well, it looks like some of my plants are coming out of the sand and starting to float, which I'm gonna have to fix, and I'll have to add a little more water as well. So let's try and fix that now. I may end up tying these to rocks or maybe some driftwood when I do plant it into my permanent aquarium so that the same thing doesn't happen because it seems like it doesn't want to stay in the sand. I will be also adding some white gravel to it to kind of help keep the sand a bit more loose so that it's easier for the roots to grow. Since these plants are small and obviously their roots won't be as strong. Let's add some leaf zone and some CO2 booster. Now, I don't have any CO2 that I can actually add in there to help them grow. So I'm just going to rely on CO2 booster. I'm doing 1 milliliter of each. And I'll probably be adding the CO2 booster every other day and leaf zone twice a week just to try to help them grow a little faster and a little better. And lastly, I will be adding my old light. I know online and from the research I've done online and on YouTube, these plants only need low to moderate light, but I'm going to try to give it a lot of light in hopes that that might help it grow faster. There we go. All right. And time to show you what it looks like on the inside now. All right, so this is what it looks like on the inside. Ooh. Let's get that focus fixed. There we go. So that's what it looks like. Most of the grass is underwater. The Monte Carlo is all underwater except for the small little bits floating around. I might add a little more water just to make sure there's as least amount of. Actually, I'll just leave that out. It'll be getting a little bit of oxygen. But I'll be adding a little bit of water here and there just to increase the oxygen intake in there since I don't have a filter. That way they can still breathe. But that's it, and I'll keep you guys updated on how they grow and how everything goes. Thank you, and keep on watching.